Atlanta, a show like no other. Mixing comedy and social commentary, Atlanta is probably the child that Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino, is the most proud of. The man of many talents, including music production, rapping,
on money flow, yeah, did mine bigger. H shit flow, so King Kong. You got big money, man. How long? I can't talk right now. I'm in Hong Kong.
singing,
You are my godsend that I have been.
writing, directing, and also acting. Yeah, the dude's in the Chris Brown tier of celebrities. You know, those celebrities that are just good at everything for some reason? Yeah, he's in that tier. Premiering on September 6, 2016, a day after my birthday actually, the show instantly gave itself a unique identity. It felt mostly grounded, yet stylized and very intimate. First episode introduces us to our four main characters along with the scenery of Atlanta. In episode 1, we opened up with a cold open as we meet Ern, played by Childish Gambino, and Alfred Paperboy Miles, played by Brian Tyree Henry. The two are smoking in the car before somebody decides to smash Paperboy's mirror. You know, people have ignorant moments, and I guess that was one of them. During this altercation, we also meet Darius, Paperboy's homeboy, who definitely is high out of his mind 24/7. And a gunshot lets off before the screen cuts to black. This intro was funny, dark, and most importantly, captures the essence of this show's atmosphere and identity perfectly. The rest of the episode goes back in time to show us how the situation came to be. The main thing I always thought was, how the hell did Paperboy beat that case?
The other day I was goddamn broke. You got a 5, I got a 5, let's smoke. The other day I...
While we follow Ern's perspective most of the time, the show really follows our main four. Ern is determined, relatable, a father, and most importantly, broke as hell. Ern has mostly failed at most of the things that he's tried to do, to the point his own parents have seemingly lost hope in him. Donald Glover portrays Ern so amazingly with his body language and expressions. Ern is the character that the audience can relate to. His sarcastic tone meshes so well with the comedy of this show. He's constantly sleeping somewhere different as he doesn't have a home, and he's constantly getting screwed over. However, his daughter, named Lottie, keeps him going. No matter what is going on in his life, Ern makes sure to take care of her. On the flip side, Ern's ex-girlfriend / baby mama, Van, aka Vanessa, played by Zazie Beetz, has a kind of rocky relationship with him. She's a mother and was a teacher, as she refused to do a drug test and admitted to smoking weed the night before. She seems to be trying to date again. She mostly exists to keep Ern in check while they struggle to support their daughter and each other. Ern is low-key the heart of this show, and his relationship with Vanessa shows signs that they still love each other. You can tell that no matter how much they fight, they need each other. These two characters sacrifice a lot. I think this goes to show that there are still good people in this world, and that they can still be good people even in the worst of situations. It's also ironic because despite Ern being broke as hell, he's always blowing his money. Paperboy and Darius are the funniest and best characters on the show, in my personal opinion. Alfred Paperboy Miles is Ern's cousin and the realest person in Atlanta, unless you include Darius in this conversation. A rapper who got his big break through Ern pulling some strings behind the scenes, and also some good publicity with the altercation that we seen at the beginning of episode 1. It seems to be a commentary on how people seem to praise rappers for acts that should not be praised. Paperboy now has to adjust to his large boost in publicity. How would you deal with your overnight success? Would you let it slip? Would you go crazy? Well, for Al, it was really just a nuisance, honestly. Paperboy is someone who never sugarcoats a word, and his ignorance is what makes him hilarious. He doesn't conform to the media and will always keep it a buck, and to put it bluntly, he doesn't give a He also apparently might have some sort of power to dodge the consequences from the police. There are many situations that I have no idea how Paperboy is not arrested yet, but at the same time, I'm kinda glad, because he's hilarious. He also gets into quite a few altercations, which not all of them are started by him in all honesty. It's mostly just Paperboy has a bit of a short fuse sometimes. He feels like a Boondocks character come to life. Darius, who is portrayed by Lakeith Stanfield, is Paperboy's homeboy, and he serves to also be one of the funniest characters on the show. A lot of statements seem to be complete nonsense, but ironically sometimes he makes quite a bit of sense. Darius at one point decides to handcuff the case with drugs in it to himself before him and Paperboy go on a deal. Of course, this ends up being a terrible idea, but it was pretty funny, not gonna lie. Darius's character may also be the most deep character in the show, depending on your interpretation of his statements. However, I think what really sets Atlanta apart, despite its amazingly great dark comedy and amazing cast, is the world that it's set in. The show seems to be set in a world that is almost parallel to ours, and I say seems to be and almost because something doesn't seem to be quite right.
One for the money, yes sir, two for the show. A couple of years ago on Headland and the Low, what's the starter? Something good.
Atlanta's world is very similar to ours, due to the same celebrities and songs still existing. However, the appearance of Quavo gives you quite a clue that this show is an alternative world to ours. Quavo appears in the show as himself, but he's a drug-dealing rapper who can be quite ruthless to say the least. He kills some dude in the forest after he was stripped of his clothes, and he doesn't even bat an eye. And after his deal with Paperboy, he also introduces the Migos to the duo. This is actually the same deal that Darius decided to handcuff the suitcase to himself. There's apparently 4 of them, and the 4th one is just some Hispanic dude, I believe. Paperboy then jokes saying, "Man, that look like he gonna die tonight." This is a joke making fun of the rumored 4th Migos member. There's also another episode where Paperboy plays in a charity basketball game, and he ends up beefing with Justin Bieber. Except this Justin Bieber is actually black, and he's extremely cocky and arrogant. There's a sort of bizarreness to the Atlanta world, and I think that's what makes the show that much more funny. You may also notice though that the comedy in this show is quite dark. Oh yeah, there's also the incident with the invisible car.
Was a good day, ain't have to spray the cake. Today was a good day, post some activists today.
The tone of this show is dark yet hilarious, and the tone of this show is almost as if social commentary met dark comedy. However, the social commentary isn't so on the nose that it will just make you roll your eyes. It feels organic. Nothing feels forced, and the delivery of the jokes is what also sets it apart. Many of the jokes have elements of racism, death, drug use, and many other topics that may be sensitive. What makes the show's use of dark comedy work is how exaggerated everything seems. The things that happen are so bizarre that the jokes work. The jokes also seem to work due to their subtlety and everything being played straight. The show chooses to let the audience decide what they determine to be funny. Social commentary is also played for laughs in a way that is relatable and can be interpreted in many ways. On the episode BAN, aka Black Entertainment Network, the episode parodies TV networks, obviously. This particular episode was directed by Donald Glover himself. It also won an Emmy for Outstanding Directing for a Comedy Series. We get to see Paperboy go on a talk show that Earn sets up for him. However, he isn't aware that he's not getting paid, and the realization of that in the scene is quite funny. The whole episode is shot in the style of a block of television programming and includes fake commercials as well. We cut from the fake commercials to the talk show as we get more and more into the story and why Paperboy is even on this to begin with. Paperboy apparently makes a controversial tweet stating that he would never have sex with Caitlyn Jenner. Earn decides to take this situation and run with it and get him an interview on television. Paperboy then debates with a fellow transgender activist played by Mary Kraft. At first the two clash over race and gender, but in all honesty, everything that Paperboy is saying may come off as mean or rude. However, he really does have a point, and that's what they ironically start to bond over. Yeah. Our host Franklin, however, is not the biggest fan of this, and he's really just trying to stir up controversy no matter what. So he tries to basically gaslight. He tries to gaslight my boy into saying something out of pocket, even though mostly everything Paperboy says is out of pocket. Then he then takes a turn as we see Antoine Smalls join the round table. Smalls believes that his name is actually Harrison Booth and he's a 35-year-old white man from Colorado. We then get probably what is one of the all-time funniest occurrences in this show, and that is just Paperboy roasting the life out of this man.
Like that, this is dumb.
What?
Dude, wait, did you power up? Because you look like Super Saiyan right now. Is that the Goku, Dragon Ball collection, my nigga? You look like Drake Malfoy, dude. Bangs, my nigga? Nobody told you not to do bangs.
However, while Paperboy is being quite rude to his guest, we get a crazy flip of the whole situation. Harrison Booth, as I will call him, because that's apparently what he wants to be called, ends up saying something more out of pocket than even Paperboy about transgender people.
One that makes your lifestyle unacceptable.
No way, not at all. I mean, a man wanting to turn himself into a woman, that's just unnatural, and I don't think we should have our kids thinking that that's okay.
They expected him to come on the show and completely agree. However, instead he comes on and is an absolute hypocrite. The whole interview has pretty much been turned on its head as they cut to commercial while Paperboy once again cackles in the background. There's a commercial for Coconut Crunchos cereal, and it's quite dark. And you could say that it's quite on the nose. However, I think it was clever how it was executed. Atlanta is a show like no other, and I hope that this show will live on for a long time, that it will not be forgotten. Because shows like this are going to stand the test of time. Maybe I know.